Hi everyone, I'm Luke Wilcox, the founder of Ethos. I'm a Minnesotan of 15 years. My background is in social impact and consulting, and I'm passionate about using data and tech for social good. Ethos is a web app to help you align the causes you are passionate about with your impact as a consumer or investor. Maybe you, like me, have wondered which companies and brands are supporting racial equity and justice, or which are keeping their workers safe during the pandemic, and maybe which are not. Well, it turns out that your decisions as a consumer or investor can make a big difference on these and other causes. Let's look at a few examples on ethos.so, where we are live. We launched on July 10th with the help of an amazing Minnesota-based company that helps startups grow, Tin Roof Collective. This is the main search bar on Ethos. You can search for a cause you're interested in, or a specific company or brand. So just as an example, let's look up a cause. I'll type in racial justice. Let's go to the racial justice profile on Ethos. So you can see some information about the cause, as well as the data behind the cause. So behind the scenes on Ethos, we've aggregated over 1 million data points across all causes, from independent organizations, from government agencies, as well as companies themselves, their SEC filings, annual reports, etc. As you might guess, most of these sources do not have an API. So we do a lot of web scraping, as well as manual data download, cleaning, vetting, and then re-uploading. Also behind the scenes, we're using Ruby on Rails hosted on Heroku. For each cause in Ethos, you can see company as well as fund ratings. So I'm here on the company ratings for racial justice and civil rights, and I can see who's doing well, who's doing okay, who's doing not so well. It looks like for racial justice, Eli Lilly is a top-rated company, at least relative to other companies. So one way to use Ethos is just to look up the companies that you interact with, the brands you buy, investments you make or think about making, and see how well they support the causes that you care about. So I'm going to search, just as an example, for Target. I'll go to Target's profile. And I can see some information about how well Target supports some causes. If I'm curious, I can look at the data behind the ratings, as well as some brands. So this is one way to use Ethos. A lot of the personal value of Ethos, though, comes from an impact assessment. An impact assessment is a really nice free tool to get very personalized recommendations of brands, companies, investments that best support what you care most about. So let's take an impact assessment. I'm going to click on this. We'll go through this pretty quickly. I'll start an assessment. And the first thing you do in an assessment is tell Ethos what are the causes that are most important to you. So just as an example, I'm going to say climate action and life on Earth. I'll click Next. Then you tell Ethos a little bit more about what is most important to you within that broad category. So within climate action, just as an example, I'm going to say that reducing greenhouse gas emissions is very important to me, and I care about renewable energy growth. I'll click Next. Then I'm going to say for life on Earth that I care about healthy oceans. I will click Next. And the last thing you do in an assessment is tell Ethos what you want to use Ethos for. So I'm just going to say I want to find brands and investments. When you click See My Results, Ethos is going to show you your assessment results. So we can see a few things here. My impact persona, based on what I've said is important to me. I'm a life sustainer. You can see some information about that persona. You can see some sample recommendations. If I want to use these recommendations in my decisions as a consumer or investor going forward, I can save my results. We'll skip that just for the sake of time, and I'll sign in with my account. So when you sign in, you can use Facebook or Google, or you can create an account on Ethos. I'm just going to sign in with Facebook. When you sign in, you see a few things. I can see my impact persona up here. I can see my overall impact score or scale. This tells me how well I'm supporting what I care about, what I've said is important to me. So it looks like I'm doing okay. This is determined based on what you save on Ethos. So just as some examples, I've saved Zoom, Urban Outfitters, and Chipotle. Just as an example of things that I use. So let's see how you could use this to better align your decisions with your causes. So maybe you, like me, use Zoom quite a bit. It looks like Zoom is rated okay for my causes. Maybe instead of Zoom, I want to think about using Skype. I'm going to type in Skype. I'll click through to Microsoft's profile. Microsoft owns Skype. It looks like Microsoft is rated quite a bit better than Zoom. So maybe I'll save Microsoft and think about using Teams or Skype. I'll save them and see what that does to my impact. Looks like it's improved a little bit. And then maybe I will unsave Zoom. and see what that does to my impact score. Urban Outfitters is also rated pretty poorly for my causes. I'm going to click on Urban Outfitters. I can see they're rated pretty poorly. You can see relative to peers, they're rated pretty poorly. It looks like Gap is rated pretty well. I'm going to click on Gap. I can see some brands that Gap owns, and maybe I'll shop at Gap instead of Urban Outfitters a little bit more. So I'm going to save Gap. I'll click on that. I'll see what that does to my impact score. And then I will unsave Urban Outfitters. And then sadly, Chipotle is rated pretty poorly for my causes. So I'm going to unsave Chipotle and see what that does to my impact score. So this is one really simple way to use Ethos. You can search for any brand, company, investment, and see how well it supports what you care about. You can compare things that you are considering. You can change what Ethos recommends for you. Use different causes if you want. Ethos also lets you link your bank account, so we'll skip that today for the sake of time. So I'm going to log out. And I'm really excited about Ethos as a way for you to align the causes that you care about with your decisions as a consumer or investor. So if you care about things like racial justice and equity, worker safety, climate change, check out ethos.so. Take a few minutes and check out some companies or brands that you use. It's very rewarding. It's totally free. We're also not hiring currently, but we are looking for developers and data scientists to help us continue to develop Ethos. So if that might interest you, please reach out to me at luke@ethos.so. We're also starting to look at funding. If you're an investor, please also reach out to me. And the URL again is ethos.so. Thank you.